Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Passive Income Show with Carl D. You are watching it live right now, and hello to everybody. I think we have visitors from all over the world, from Asia, from Middle East, from the U.S., from Australia down south, and welcome everybody. Today this is the show that we talk about money, finance, and today we're gonna talk about something very special called money personality. Ayan. So, we have, hindi na natin patatagalin. Our invited guest is a special friend of mine, and he is an entrepreneur by heart. He made various companies during his young age. Before 30, he was already a millionaire. Madami siyang na-open ng mga businesses even before 30 years old. But from being a millionaire, he eventually lost everything at age 30 and napunta pa siya in debt. And because of this life experience niya, he was able to bounce back again, and he shares his life story and his journey from being up to down and now to being up again. Then our guest desires to help others achieve their full potential through his various talks to corporate about money, about attitude, about how to be a good speaker, and marami pa. And without further ado, I will let my guest speaker introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all give a warm welcome to Mr. Jayson Lo.
Hello, Carl. Thank you so much
Hello.
for having me in your show.
Welcome. It's an honor, and all of our viewers are so honored to have you. Sobrang hirap mahagilap tong si Jayson. Always busy, but thank you for giving us time tonight.
Nako, hindi. The honor is all mine. Thank you for having me. And for the viewers here, I just want you to know a little bit about Carl D. Carl D is what you see is what you get. And if you look at him, because he's in business, he looks intimidating for some. But Carl has a golden heart, and he's one of the stand-up guys, a good friend, and one of the most humble tauke that I know.
Tauke. Salamat, Jason. I was not expecting that, but thank you. Thank you. Such an honor. And Jason, maraming tatanong, ano yung sinasabi mo, Sir Carl, na millionaire and then nawala? Can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, that's one of the talks that I do. Companies would invite me. I just had a talk for soldiers a few weeks ago, and then before that, mga doctors, around 750 doctors over Zoom. And funny nga kasi nakalimutan ko yung theme pa nila. It's about experts. So it was it was sponsored by a pharmaceutical company. And ang opening ko, everyone, I am not an expert. Sabi ko. And I told them na because of all my failures in life, then probably I am credible to share about money because of what happened to me. And these are things that I've learned along the way. And so far, naging maganda naman yung talk. And then the host at the end of my talk, sabi niya, you know what I love when you started na you said that you weren't an expert. Anyway, blooper. Ako personally, I have experienced ups and I have experienced downs. So when we had one of our businesses before, it was a restaurant or a few restaurants. I was actually using my credit card, because my money was locked dun sa mga ibang ginagawa namin na small businesses also. And what happened was that my partners promised that they would infuse more capital. It didn't materialize. So 8 credit cards all with debt. So just imagine how much that is. Interest pa lang yun per month. And then I had to live through that. And when I got out of debt, it was an exhilarating feeling. That's one of the things that I talk about in my book, Determined. Take control of your finances and your life.
Wow. Can you share also sa audience, nakwento mo before about your watch? Do you still have that story about your watch?
Oh, yeah. Sayang, di ko suot-suot ngayon. Well, that's one story that I have shared probably more than, this is not an exaggeration, more than 1,000 times already siguro in my speaking engagements. Yung bumili ako ng relo when I was around 18 years old that time. I was working for a relative who has a boutique in Ali Mall. Yung nakakatakot pang pumunta ng Ali Mall before dun sa Cubao. So they were paying me 20 pesos per hour. So at 20 pesos per hour, that's where I learned the value of discipline, hard work, and the value of money. And then, every day may break kami. Tapos, meron isang watch store na katabi nung boutique nila. And every day I would pass that watch store. Tapos, I saw this watch that captured my attention. And nalaman ko yung price ng watch. It was 25,000. So, at 20 pesos per hour, mabibili ko siya ng mga around 7 months time. Pag hindi ako nag-almusal, hindi ako nag-lunch, hindi ako nag-dinner. In other words, imposible.
Yeah.
And I was able to buy it in a few months, 2 months. Tapos,
Wow.
lagi ko siyang suot pag may speaking engagement ako kasi it keeps me grounded eh. It reminds me how I started. To be humble or you will stumble. And I've stumbled many times.
Wow. Jason, it's good to hear of people who are successful, how they succeed, how they make millions. But for me, I feel more inspired and recharged hearing people who are able to learn and come out of their struggles. So you mentioned also that you had credit card debts before, no?
Yeah, yeah.
How's it
Um,
like? How's it like being inside that? Mahirap lumabas.
Hindi lang yung sa credit card, no? There were moments na pag dumating na yung mga 9:30, before 10 a.m., nag-ring yung phone namin sa bahay. Natatakot na ako nun. Kasi alam ko na bangko. Mapuputukan kami ng cheque. Awa ng Diyos, wala naman akong napaputok na cheque. Pero na-trauma ako yun. Up until today, I don't want to hear that ringtone. So,
Mm.
siguro mga 2, 3 times a week, we get calls from the bank. And yung credit cards, 8 credit cards. I had one speaking engagement and I shared our story and I told them that we paid off 7 of the cards already and there's only one remaining. Tapos nilabas ko yung card, sabi ko, we paid off the last card 2 days ago. And I got a pair of scissors, cut it, and I told them that's what you call plastic surgery. Tapos, yun yung ano, galing lang kasi, kumbaga, it took years, 2 years for me to finally get out of my predicament.
But Jason, I want to honor Kat. Kat was there with you the whole time, no?
Yeah,
Hindi ka
yeah.
niya, hindi ka niya iniwan, 'di ba? Through thick and thin.
My si Kat was pregnant back then.
Walang
Tapos,
hiya ka, Jason.
no, ito yung
Demonstrate her.
nakakatawa. Dito siya ka-supportive ah. I have one mentor, sabi niya sa akin. Ang gawin mo, kasi we have partners eh. And I had to talk to each one of them. So, sabi niya, alam mo, maganda sama mo yung wife mo para mas maging yung nila, mas hindi naman maawa, no? But they would be more forgiving. And kasama ko siya katabi ko. Pregnant pa that time. So, first thing that the listeners, ito magandang advice. Do the same if you have a problem like that. No. Change
Nag-work ba?
topic.
But Kat, hello to you, Kat. And at least ngayon, 'di ba? Sabi pag tinanong natin si Kat, what is your best investment? Marrying Jayson Lo. Yan.
Yun ang akala niya, no? Akala niya, mayabang lang pala. Hindi mayaman.
But Jason, talagang I think I believe that our life is maybe short but it's still quite long, and then we will stumble along the way. And when we stumble, I think God is testing our hearts kung ano gawin natin. Would you agree?
Hey, I love what you said, no? Our short may seem our life may seem short
Short,
and
but
yet
it's
long.
yeah.
Parang no, yung days are long but years are short.
Wow. Wow.
Di ba? Parang
Yes.
nasaan na napunta yung 1 year nung pandemic natin. Pero when we were going through it, parang ang tagal ng mga araw.
I I I I regret, sana I wish na puwede ko pa ibalik ulit yung mga days na yun, 'di ba?
Mm, mm.
And Jason, I'd just like to say hi to one of your followers, Joanna Lazaro of Loros. Hi Joanna, and meron siya binigay na whoosh and power. Jason, whoosh, power whoosh. Medyo
Hey, I received it. Joanna, how are you? Our
oh,
Lodis in Lorus.
bawal na mag-whoosh ngayon in face-to-face kasi may mga tatalsik. So dapat ano na lang, cyber whoosh. Guys, feel free to ask your questions. So let's start na, Jason. You know, what is this money personality all about? Ngayon lang namin narinig to.
Yeah, I've been teaching about the behavioral styles. I use the term personalities because people are more mas familiar sa kanila yung word na personality types. And I have written 3 books about it. It's called Unique, and it's based on the DISC profiles from a study by William Marston in the 1920s. And the DISC profiles, DISC, D stands for dominant, I stands for influential, S stands for steady, and C stands for corrective. And Carl, the animals that I used are, kasi kinontextualize ko siya for a Filipino setting. Although I've taught this also outside the country, so the principles are universal. Mamaya, share ko kung anong personality si Carl.
Nagbago na ako, Jason. You know, guys, I've known Jason for a long time. And
Yeah.
ang sarap ng pakiramdam na you have yung friends that last a long time. And up until now, di ba, kahit sikat na si Jason, pinapansin pa rin niya ako.
Parang baligtad. Yan ang
So, yeah.
I love what about Carl, no? If you message him, sasagot ka agad yan, no matter what. Kahit
Kumusta
na
setup mo? I remember you were messaging me about setting up your mic and your computer and all. Kamusta?
Well, I'm getting there. Actually,
Diba,
this is a new one, but yeah. I love your system, your
yaman mo, you should invest in your equipments.
No, I'm thinking of a different type of setup wherein parang naka live na studio. So
Wow.
but I have to check first which would be very optimal.
Yeah,
Yan.
go for it.
Sinabi mo palang mayaman compared to you, ikaw yung nandito, ako nandito pa lang. Yan.
Si Marvin
So,
Guermo. Shout out kay Marvin Guermo. Sana bisitahin mo naman kami. And Randall Tiongson. Randall Tiongson will be our guest next week. And we're gonna talk about mga Bible principles saka diversification.
Wow. Amazing.
So back to you, Jason. You were talking about the personalities.
Yeah, the animals that I used are the eagle for the dominant, the influential, it's the rooster, and then for the steady, it's the carabao, and for the corrective, it's the tarsier. Because the disc profiles, there are several people who would teach this, but it's just a glimpse because it looks simple, but it's deceptively simple. But the application is so vast, and it includes money. Kasi yung money, Carl, it's really about our our relationship also with money. Kaya minsan hindi natin alam bakit other strategies would work for others. And yung same strategy na yan, when we use it, we're not comfortable with it. It's because we are not customizing it based on who we are.
Jason, is that the reason why minsan nag-argue kami with my wife about money? Minsan naman, pagkausap ko yung siblings ko, hindi kami aligned. Is that the reason?
That's one huge reason why. Because probably you and Jen, for example, pag-uusapan natin, no? Kasi si Carl is a high dominant. Okay? So the dominants are I'm not saying in terms of kumaga gambling. What I'm saying is high rollers yan mga yan. They're not afraid of taking risks. They would take risks, and for them money is just a tool that they can use, and they know that if they lose money, they can earn it again. And yung flip side naman yan, yun yung nagiging weakness rin nila because they feel like they can do anything. So they overlook risks and challenges, especially yung mga less experienced na dominant. So for example, ikaw dominant ka, your relationship with money, your definition of money is that medyo yung risk tolerance mo mataas. Si Jen
Mhm.
naman, iba naman for example, I don't know, no? Kay Jen, baka steady
Con-
siya. Sa kanya naman,
Conservative.
security.
Ganun.
Conservative naman yung sa kanya. So yun pa lang, nagka-clash na. And what would happen is if we do not understand each other, remember, sabi, di ba, ang conflict ng mag-asawa, number one would be communication. Number two, it's money. Number three, parang sex. Yan. Hindi yun yung topic natin, ha? Dun
Too
sa
much
mga,
of it or lack of it?
I think the lack of it, but yeah, that's not our topic, but baka madaming mag-share lalo, no? Um, and yung nangyayari pagdating sa area na yon, we have to, kasi yung money is also communication eh. It's
Oh,
also
okay.
lack of communication. Di ba?
Okay.
Kaya under din siya dun sa bracket na yon. So, yung dominants, no, they are people who make things happen. They love risks. They love challenges. Their favorite P word is powerful. And their favorite song is My Way. Alam niyo na kung bakit.
So, talaga ano, no? Talagang their way is the right way.
Yeah, not just the right way, the only way.
The only
Their
way.
way or the highway. Ganun sila.
Ano downside of being dominant pagdating sa money?
Sila yung, ano eh, you know, Carl, you know a lot of entrepreneurs, di ba? May mga kilala ka bang mga businessmen na magaling sa umpisa, magaling mag-set up, tapos magsi-set up ng negosyo after that, move na naman sila to another business, they will open up another business, and they will look for someone to manage the business that they have started.
Meron.
But it doesn't work that way dahil kailangan you have to invest time to build that
Yeah.
business, di ba? So nangyari sa kanila, they're good starters, but they are not good finishers. So they need someone to help them along the way. And rather than investing, for example, let's say sa mga stock market, they would rather invest in themselves and in their business. They would rather bet on themselves. Kasi ayaw nila nung parang pag nag-invest sila, ibang tao yung nagko-control kasi control for them is very important.
Mhm. Mhm. So that's for the dominant. No? But you know, Jason, what I'm picking up right now is
Hmm?
if you're a dominant, you will do well if you partner with somebody on the other spectrum. Tama, no? Parang that's what I'm getting to balance you out.
Well, it applies to all personality types. If you're the steady, it would be prudent to partner with a personality type that is different from yours. Sa mga dominant naman, if we're gonna talk about business, it would be prudent for them to look for a corrective tarsier, the analytical one, because the dominants see the forest while the correctives they see the trees, and
Yeah.
both are very important.
Yeah, very well said, Jason, no? And you know, kami ng wife ko, we are opposite. Initially, I think it's a source of friction, but
Mm.
eventually you realize that it can be a plus na you complement each other. So I'm more big picture, siya naman more detail. So I would always go to her and say, "Hey, what do you think, honey, of my idea?" And then she will give me all the mga worst case scenarios, di ba? Para maging maingat ka.
And that's what they do. I'll talk about them later, yung correctives, kasi
Okay.
ano sila eh, ganun sila no when they share their ideas, but it would actually be better if they are aware of their personality type so that when they convey their message, hindi siya mukhang doom and gloom. Mukha siyang they're just sharing it because they want to add insight and not to be pessimistic, which a lot are if they don't know how to, if they're not aware of their personality type.
Jason, ganda ng sinabi mo. Guys, for those listening here, first thing I picked up is you complement your personality with somebody on the different spectrum, no? And then number two, you mentioned na you have to know your personality pala para you can control yourself din. Diba? Like the tarsier, which is a corrective, para hindi rin siya masyadong parang doom and gloom.
And hindi rin masyadong uh, paralyzed. Analysis paralysis kasi nangyayari sa kanila. Eh si dominant naman, go, go, go. Let's do it.
Jason,
Just do it.
nakakita ka na ba na nag-argue na spouse? One is an eagle, one is a tarsier, and they argue. What is your
All the
advice?
time.
All the time.
Yeah. Including us.
And me
No.
also. Yeah. Ano ka ba, Jason? Kayo ni Kat?
Well, ako kasi since I've been, siguro, alam mo yun, yung ang dami mo na rin mga failures, yung mga, binibilang ko, Carl, I've had around 15 businesses already. Okay? Most of them are really small scale. There were some that grew in size. And pag dumaan ka na sa mga failures, nagbabago ka na, bumabait ka na.
Mabait, yes.
Um,
Humble down.
yeah. Kumbaga, I was a very high dominant eagle before. Kung nagtanong ka sa akin humingi ka sa akin ng advice, ang sagot ko sa'yo, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, that's what you have to do. Pero now, when someone
Okay na.
asks me for advice, sometimes I don't give them advice anymore eh. Nakikinig na lang ako sa kanila. Kasi alam naman nila kung ano yung gagawin nila, yung mga negosyante na nalugi yung negosyo, and they just need someone to listen to them, someone who has gone through it and who would understand them. Kasi may mga bagay na wala talagang solusyon eh. Correct?
I see.
So, minsan, bankrupt talaga yung negosyo. What do? There's no solution. And it's really in the hands of God eh. There are cases na ganun na yung it's really putting your faith in Him.
I just want to shout out to Zeldrin Aquino. There you go. Find a partner who will support you. I like that. Na your partner may be opposite of you. Don't feel na it's bad or a negative. Feel na it's complementing. Just want to say hi to Ian Celis from Iloilo. Yan. So what do you advise, Jason, sa mga couples na nag-argue? Well, you mentioned eagle and tarsier. Ano pa ba? Carabao ba tsaka rooster nag-aaway din?
Oh, sige. I'll go through the muna, no? Would you like that, Carl? I'll go through the four.
Yes. Okay. I'll give you the floor.
Yeah. And regarding your question, my wife and I, Kat, wrote a book called Uniquely in Love.
Wow.
So there we shared about the personality types in the context of a couple, in the context of husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. So I'll proceed with the other types now. The rooster, the influential, they are those who loves people. They are the people person, and they're the life of the party. They don't need to go to a party anymore because the party goes to them. So, sila yung mga creative, punong-puno ng mga ideas. Ang pag-recharge nila is to be around people. Si Marvin is actually an influential rooster, but he's a hybrid eh, kasi corrective din siya na pinagsama.
Okay.
Kaya magaling din siya sa pera. Kasi ang influence, by the way, you can also have a blend, a combination. So, ang mga influentials, they're full of ideas. They're great connectors. They can network with just about anyone. Yan. They're innovative. Ang kanilang weakness naman is that they are forgetful. Pagdating sa mga details, pagdating sa mga facts, figures, they hate that. And sila din yung mga kulang sa focus. They get distracted by shiny objects. Kaya ang mga influential, iba yung style nila pagdating sa dominance. Kasi ang influentials, they are we're not putting people in a box, pero sila yung pinaka-bad when it comes to money management. Distracted by shiny objects.
Oh, kasi
Kaya
they're distracted. Okay.
Right. So, yun yung second. Yung third naman are the steady carabaos. Sila naman yung steady, chillax. They love to listen. They're the best counselors. and they love administration. Sila yung mga tumatagal talaga sa work and they are considered the most loyal out of the four. And weakness nila is they have difficulty making mga decisions, especially major ones. And they don't like confrontation. Feeling ko si Jen hindi ganyan no?
Jason, alam mo, as you were talking, I can relate this to family members. 'Di ba? Yung kakabanggit mo lang na matagal magdesisyon. I
Yes,
see that
yes.
also. And then yun nga, yung shiny objects, I think yun yung kamag-anak natin na siguro madaling maloko or madaling scam,
Hmm.
'di ba? So it all falls under a money personality pala, no?
Si Jen Carl is more corrective, no? She's the analytical, no?
You know, alam mo, I will invoke my right not to answer. Fifth Amendment. So, mahirap na. Recorded to. Baka may masabi akong mali. Yeah.
Okay. Mamaya na lang natin pag-usapan sa backstage.
Yeah.
Ito yung ano natin, yung mga correctives, they're the analytical bunch. They love to analyze and they love numbers. They love figures, research, development. And ang weakness naman nila, they can be napaparalyze sila, analysis paralysis. Sa kaka-analyze na paparalyze and their tendency to want to make everything perfect. And we have to remember that the enemy of profit and progress is perfection. Kaya yun naman yung kanilang challenge. So out of all the types, silang pinaka-susceptible sa depression dahil isip ng mga bagay na hindi na dapat iniisip.
Hey, Jason. Wow. Guys, for those who are listening in, I don't know if you're feeling this eye-opener, no? So, hindi lang, may reason pala for bakit sila ganun sa pera. Tama yung sinabi mo, no, Jason, na because of their desire for perfection, they're unable to move forward and they become depressed because of their personality. Galing, Jason, ha? And then, but I think first is awareness, no? Ano ba advantage of being aware of your personality?
Well, in terms of being aware, kunyari, influential ka, especially the high influentials. I have a friend who's an entrepreneur and he has a huge business. And this guy is a high influential. So, yung pera niya, kapag may nahawakan siyang pera, ubus talaga. Ubus talaga. So, he's ostentatious, magastos siya. So, yung ginawa niyang plan is, nag-set lang siya ng limit. So, meron siyang, yung executive assistant niya would put money in his ATM. So, yung money doon, yan yung money na pwede niyang gastusin. So, pag nawala, naubos na yan, yun na yung limit niya, alam niya. Pero kung naglagay ka ng, for example, 100,000, naglagay ka ng 500,000, same lang, uubusin niya yon. Ganun yung tendency. So, every month, there's the limit. And meron siyang forced savings.
Yeah.
Kasi, sila yung kailangan ng forced savings na every month meron talaga silang hinuhulugan. If not, then yung money nila will just go somewhere that, di ba, yung mga bagay na would be considered as liabilities.
Wow, Jason, I think you just described me. Ako rin ganun. Spender din ako. Pareho kami ni Joanna na nandito. What is your analysis of why people are spender? But Jason, before you answer, just want to share with the audience here, no, na yun nga, nakatulong sa akin yun because I'm a spender. I rechanneled my energy on buying property installment. So naghulog-hulog ako. And it put me in for saving mode. Eh masipag naman tayo magtrabaho. So we were struggling paying off the debts. Pero eventually, it kept me busy from the shiny objects. What are your thoughts about Jason? Mga spender like me.
Ikaw kasi pa nag-spend ka, iba eh. Yung may purpose ka pa nag-spend ka eh.
Not the channel. The channel.
I think your dominant kicks in eh. Your dominant kicks in. I remember this story, no, when we were together. We attended a seminar. I hope you don't mind me sharing this.
Oh, sige. Basta naka-record to, ah.
Naka-record. Oo nga. So, there was this, let's not mention the speaker, but he's an American. and we were there together. And he was offering this coaching. You will pay 75,000 to be coached by him for a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
So ano man, syempre practical ako. Parang, ano bang maituturo sa akin na to na, di ba? 75,000 you'll pay him, and then would it be worth the money? Tapos sabi mo sa akin, sabi ko, oh, Carl, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna, di ba, get the coaching? Sabi mo sa akin, yeah, oo. Kasi pera lang naman yan. The worst thing that can happen to me is I lose 75,000. Sa loob-loob ko, ako, if I lose 75, masakit yun eh. Pero you were talking as if yung 75, there is an ROI. Ending up, after you, I also took that, I was coached by him. And hindi nga worth it. But I guess the mere act na you invested,
Yeah.
kumbaga, it changed your perspective eh. So, ganun yung mga dominance. Kaya, I think yung sa'yo, it's more of really, you see the value, the ROI of yung mga bagay that you spend on.
Jason, I just want to add, alam mo, nakalimutan ko na yan incident na yan. But I'm so glad you mentioned. Naalala ko na it came back to me. Alam mo, tama ka eh. It was not worth the money. But alam mo, I look back on that moment. May sinabi siya sa akin eh. One thought, just one concept, and it changed my trajectory on where I am right now. So I guess,
care to share what that is?
Wag muna. But paano ko ba i-frame to? This is hindi ako prepared for this eh. But ako kasi, once you reach a certain point in your life na parang you're at full capacity of what you can handle. Meaning yun na lang yung alam mo, you know what you know na. What you're looking for is, what don't I know? So I'm in that level of my life right now, Jason. I'm in that quest to go out and explore other things I don't know.
Yeah.
Oo, yun. Ang labo, no? Pero yun na yun.
Sa akin it was worth it also in the sense na kasi we spoke for like 28 minutes eh.
Wow.
And then you paid 75,000. Sa akin, the thing that changed is, my goodness, I know I can offer, not for anything, I know that I can offer a lot more than what he shared to me.
Yes.
And I was undervaluing myself in terms of pricing for mga clients. And right after that experience, I actually raised my speaking rates. Ginawa ko siyang double, in some cases triple. And yung 7 na clients na yon na sinenda namin ng proposal, none of them complained. 5 said yes on the spot. And then the 2, it's okay. Because from the prices itself, it was able to cover much more. Kasi yun yung isang importante that we can learn from a dominant ego is to understand yung belief and confidence. Kasi if you believe, that sends a command to your body. That's what a belief is.
Yeah. Well said, Jason. Ano ka ba? Are you dominant?
I am sanctified dominant.
Why did you use sanctified dominant? Ano ibig sabihin nun?
Ganyan kayo mag-ingat yung mga dominants. By the way, sige, bago ko idagdag to. Yung mga dominants kasi, you're very focused on tasks. You're very focused on tasks. And I had a conversation with my wife. Sabi ko, dominant ba ako? Sabi niya, hay nako, oo, napaka-dominant mo. Sabi ko talaga, sige nga, prove to me na dominant ako. Sabi niya, sige, tignan mo lahat ng mga partners mo. Sino yung mga partners mo na nakaaway mo? Aba bro, napaisip ako. My goodness, pati yung mga sobrang mababait. Kasi when it comes to work, I'm really high dominant before. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I will tell you straight in your face. And I had to learn that not everyone is like me. And now, if people see me, they don't see me as dominant anymore. Kumbaga, I learned how to adjust.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, kumbaga, yeah, I think when we're younger, we're very, very aggressive. Now we're mellowed down a bit.
I think you can say the same thing with you with yourself, you know.
Yeah, you're more caring na and more empathic. Dati talaga wala eh. Dati, 'di ba? You just go go go, 'di ba? Focus on the achievement even if you hurt people along the way. Now we're more careful.
Hmm. Kasi you can be right and wrong at the same time.
Jason, meron tayong mga questions dito from the crowd. I just wanna say hi to Lyra and Ian from Dumaguete. Is it possible that the four personalities are present in one person? Wow. Baka ma-confuse yung tao na yun ah.
Well, if that is the case, I have had workshops na apat yung kanilang type. And I would tell them take the test again or I would ask them if they're going through something kasi that's not possible. And true enough, yung iba nag-experience sa mga highs and lows, whether may transition sa work na promote or lows, may namatay sa family. Kaya abnormal yung result ng test nila. At the most, we are two blends. And at the most then, meron tayong balance of three types. So lumalabas yung iba learned yung kanilang personality. In other words, because of the situation, they have learned how to adjust.
All right, guys, yung mga nanonood, please type in your questions. What questions are on your mind? So you have free consultation with Mr. Jayson Lo. Jason, may question tayo from Sean. What are your thoughts about somebody who is a saver? Yung sobrang save ng money pero ubos naman yung time niya.
Hmm?
'Di ba?
Yeah. Typically, ang mga steady Carabaos are the savers. They don't want to invest. So what would happen is yung money nila sometimes hindi nila na ma-maximize. Ito, believe it or not, may kausap lang ako last week. Etong entrepreneur na to, alam ko, kasi we're friends, alam ko malaki siyang kumita.
Okay.
And all her money is in the bank.
Okay.
Okay?
Sobrang
So if you have,
conservative.
sobrang conservative, yung pera niya, hindi maliit na pera. I think, baka umaabot na ng mga 30 million in the bank, time deposit. Just imagine.
Oh.
If you have 1 million in the bank, that's okay. Pang emergency and everything. Pero pag 2 million na yan, you're not, starting to invest it. Lumilit na lumilit yan because of inflation.
Mhm.
So just imagine you have 10 million. Sabihin na natin ang inflation, mga 3% plus education, 5 to 6%. Sabihin na natin 5%. So 5% of 10 million every year is 500,000. So you're losing 500,000 of the value of your money. So yung nangyayari ngayon, yung mga savers, they have to be more open to investing and to risk. So for those naman who saves money pagdating sa time, I guess it's a process kasi there are some people who wants to learn it first before they start hiring people para pag nag-hire na sila ng tao, alam nila kung ano yung ginagawa ng tao na yon. But at in the long run, it would be better for them to use their money so that they can leverage using
Mhm.
other people's time or other people's money.
Well said, Jason. Well said. So you've talked a lot about the dominant eagle. The Carabao is the saver, perfectionist. The tarsier naman is very critical. Ano naman ang nakikita mong downside of a tarsier? Kunyari, after listening to you, na-realize ko, tarsier pala ako. How should I parang sort through this?
Corrective tarsiers enjoy life more because you're not enjoying your life. You're
Oh, I see.
you're always thinking and thinking and thinking, and you want everything to be perfect according to plan, and that's not going to be the case. You can strive for excellence, but perfection is impossible. Only God is perfect. So leave room for failures. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, well said, well said. You were saying leave room for failures.
Yeah, and correctives kasi they're very structured. Kaya kailangan meron din tayong room, a wiggle room for the surprises of life. And when that happens, you just have to enjoy the process as well.
So guys, if you're listening right now, at least at this point, na-identify mo na kung saan ka. Are you a dominant eagle? Corrective tarsier. Corrective is yung parang you keep on analyzing, no, Jason? Yung parang tingin ng tingin sa interest rate, laging kino-compare down to the last centavo, ganun, no?
Correct, correct.
Actually, Jason, sa business, since I'm a general big picture guy, I don't have details. And when I'm faced with a client na tarsier and they keep asking me about details, sobrang nahihirapan ako.
Same here. Kasi yung mga correctives, sa totoo lang sila yung pinakamahirap bentahan sa lahat. The beauty of this program, Carl, no? Kasi, by the way, for those of you who have an idea already of the disc profiles, I'll just give you context. Para kang nasa map na nasa step 1, step 2, step 3, hanggang step 9. Some of you, you have an idea, you know who you are, but that's just step 1. You can go deeper and the application is really vast. So, pwede siya sa sales, pwede sa leadership, pwede siya sa money. Kasi, ang maganda, people are different but we have patterns already. You can actually predict how people would react, how would people would behave in certain situations. Kaya, yun yung application.
Yeah. Well, alam mo guys, I'm learning. As Jason is talking about this, people come into my mental picture ko. Si ganun pala, kaya pala ganun. And I think what's coming to me is I'm now more understanding of other people. Tama, Jason, no? This is the application din, no?
Yeah. Going back to your corrective concern kanina, no? I have a client. I hope he's not watching, no? This client, my goodness, I have done more than 10 speaking engagements training for their group. He has a huge group. And he's a top performer of his company. Every time magpe-present ako, pinapakialaman pa rin yung PowerPoint ko. Jason, can you please send me yung ganyan, ganito? Ako naman parang, hello, wala ka bang tiwala sa akin? Ang dami ko nang ginawa para sa... But since I know his personality type, I understand him. Kailangan niya to for reassurance. And I would comply. Comply. At least naintindihan ko siya, bakit siya ganon. He's not there to get me. He's not there to be like detective, but it's just part of his personality.
Wow, I'm glad you mentioned that. So hindi naman sa wala siyang tiwala sa'yo. It's just his personality to see everything it's perfect.
Correct. That's his tendency to, that's the way he behaves. That's the way he thinks. And if you do not understand that, you have no awareness of that personality types, immediately you'll be offended.
Yes. Especially if you're, let's say, sino ba na-offend sa tarsier? Eagle.
Lahat.
So,
Kasi, may opposites din tayo . You know, we can talk about this the whole day, Carl. Sa daming application niya. Sa daming application. Even with relationships, love. That's why I'm fascinated with this. So, yung nangyayari kapag opposite tayo ng personality, nagkakaroon ng rift if we do not put ourselves in other people's shoes. And it's funny, yung mga workshops ko wherein pinag-o-open ko sila about themselves, share more about themselves, ask about other types. Minsan nakakatawa. Nagbabangayan sila. Kasi kayo ganito, kasi kayo ganyan. And it's all in good fun naman, but there's truth behind what they're saying.
Jason, as you are talking, nakikita ko na deeper yung application. Number 1, family, siblings, no?
Correct.
And daughters, sons and daughters, pag lumaki sila, ibang personality, one is not better than the other. No? Except for the tire share na medyo kinikriticize sa lahat. And then, um, employees. Nakikita ko yung binabanggit mo about office setting.
Hmm.
'Di ba? Where they will argue, pero wala na, one is not better than the other.
I have a client, Carl. I did a workshop for them, no? The context, iba-iba kasi yung context eh. So, yung context namin sa kanila, it's more of management. And the owner of the company messaged me the next day. Sabi niya, Jason, perfect na nag-unique tayo.
Mm.
Kasi I have nag-strat planning sila right after my session. She has two managers daw who haven't spoken to each other for 5 years. 5 years. Tapos yung nag-workshop kami, they realized bakit ganun yung kanilang tendency. Tapos they patch things up and they started talking after 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
Tapos, so, this happened lang a few weeks ago. I was
Wow.
doing a session for salespeople naman. And I asked them about, yun, sabi mo, siblings, no? There was one who cried. Niiyak
Wow.
siya. Sabi ko, care to share why you are, emotional right now? Sabi niya, finally, naintindihan ko na yung kapatid ko. Bakit kami lagi nag-aaway?
Wow.
So, across the board, it can be applicable.
I didn't expect this to be your topic, no? Na ganun pala yung application ng money personalities. And I just want to speak to the audience here, if I was a CEO of a company, I was a boss, I would definitely want my people to learn this so they don't attack each other, they don't judge, they don't say mean things about the other. But instead, kunyari ako, I'm a dominant. I just say, kasi tarsier siya. Let me support her with the details she's asking for. Ay, Carabao siya, kaya naturally conservative yung mga galaw niya. Let me assure that Carabao na what I'm doing is, di ba, parang ganon. And then, ano nga palang rules? But before that, I just wanna share that, guys, Jayson Lo is very easy to deal with, to talk to. If you have a company, you want his coaching program, training, just go to his website. What's your website, Jayson?
So it's jasonlaw.com.
JasonLaw.com.
They can also go to my page kasi my website now is under, it's still there but it's under construction. We'll be having a new website soon.
Facebook
And
na
I'm
lang.
active on social media. They can find me
Yeah.
there also. Thank
So,
you for that, Carl.
Don't worry, Jayson is not the snobbish type. Diba? Guwapo pero hindi snobbish. Yan yung hashtag niya. And then, yun lang, I just want to promote kasi if I was an owner of a company, I just want to get you to teach my people this topic so they can, blend well. And I think as a boss, you want your people to be able to avoid frictions di ba? Jason, Rooster naman. Ano ba tong si Rooster? Shiny object guy.
Si Rooster kasi they're very they are the ultimate people persons. So they can just talk about they can just talk to anyone, any type.
Okay.
Ma-PR, yan yung mga hosts, yan yung mga magaling din sila sa sales. They're like a magnet that attracts people and they can connect you to others also because they have a vast network.
Ano sila? Are they how about their the money? Paano sila with their money?
Oh, I mentioned kanina sila yung pinaka not so good with money. Kasi yung utak nila, they would jump from one adventure to the next.
Yeah.
And ito yung maganda if you learn the types, and if you learn how to apply them. Si Carl kasi pag nakita nyo, sa totoo lang, Carl is very siya, magaling siya na businessman and he's also good in sales. So ikaw, when you talk, you look like an influential. I don't know if you get that, when he talks, kasi I've known you for a long time, when you share, you look like an influential, but it's more of a learned personality because you need to be one
I see.
because of what you're doing.
Mhm, mhm. So, na-imagine ko na, if a Carabao, ang kapatid na isa Carabao, yung isang kapatid, Rooster, eh magka-clash talaga yung dalawang yun.
Correct, correct. Ako yung anak ko, Rooster, tsaka Tarsier. Clash talaga.
Tell me about, how about sa kids naman? Paano sa kids?
Ang opposites kasi, opposite ng dominant are the steadies eh. Ang opposite naman ng influentials are the corrective. Kaya lang, I wrote about this also in my book. Opposites attract also. You fall in love usually with a person who is opposite your personality.
Oh, wow.
Um, kasi totoo yung opposites attract eh. Kasi you're looking for a quality na wala ka eh. Kaya ka na-attract dun sa tao. Although that's not naman hard and fast rule, no? But 60-70% of the time, you would be married to someone who has an opposite personality. Sa kids,
Sa kids.
my two daughters, they they share the same room. Dalawa yung bed nila pero yung isa tatabi talaga dun sa atsi niya kasi she's the influential. And then the
Okay.
other naman wants space because she's a corrective. Kailangan niya ng space to think. So, I remember this story by Anthony Pangilinan way back. He wasn't talking about the disc profiles, but he was talking about his children. So, yung anak niya na um, girl, mas older yata, pinanish niya kasi she didn't obey him. Sabi niya, okay, face the wall. Just face the wall. But dad, I want to play with my friends outside. No, just face the wall. Stay there for 1 hour. Yung bata, naiyak na daw siya. I can't stand this. I want to go out. I want to be with my friends. Stay there. After that, napanish niya. After a few weeks, yung boy naman niya, so, siya naman yung pinanish. Sabi niya sa boy niya, stand there in the corner, face the wall. Okay? For 1 hour. You can't play outside. Tapos after mga 10 minutes, napapansin niya, parang nag-e-enjoy yata. After 20 minutes, kinakausap niya yung sarili niya, yung bata. Oh, he was playing on his own. Sabi niya, mukhang yata effective tong punishment ko. Ah. Sabi niya dun sa anak niya, okay, here's my punishment. Play with the kids outside. No, daddy, I don't know them. I don't know them. How? No, go. Go outside, play with those other kids. Yun yung punishment. Magkaiba, di ba?
Now I get it. So, may mga parents na nandito. Let us talk a little bit more about kids. So, ano pa mga kwento mo about different personalities sa kids and how to deal with it?
Well, for the personality types with kids, you have to be aware of who they are. And I would always ask this in my seminars to prove a point. Tinatanong ko yung mga audience, so among you here, you have 2 or more children. Okay? So, everyone na may 2 or more children would raise their hand. And I would ask them 2 questions. The first question is, who among you love your children equally? Everyone would raise their hand. Except some dominant eagles who would openly admit that they love one child over the other no more. And then my next question, sasabihin ko sa kanila, who among you here, you treat your children equally? Everyone would raise their hand again. And then I'll tell them, the first one is correct. You should love your children equally. But the second one is wrong. You should treat them differently. Why? Because they are different from each other. So, pag alam mo kung ano yung personality type nila, you would learn how to treat your child not the way you want to be treated, but the way they need to be treated. And that's what I call the unique rule.
Wow. Jason, you just open up something new again. No? So kanina, guys, sa mga nakikinig, we were talking about spouses. How yung difference in personality ng spouses. And then how it's applied sa work, sa business, partners, and co-employees, co-manager. And now we've moved to, as we are nearing the runway already, Jason, as we are nearing to land our plane, you talk about treating our kids differently. Jason, wow. It's the first time ko narinig yun. Kasi lagi ko naiisip na we should treat them all the same. Can
Mm.
you tell us more about that?
Understanding your children would actually help them, help you draw out their strengths. Kasi ang school system, no, it teaches us how to be well-rounded. And
Okay.
whenever I would talk to teachers, they would agree. Kunyari, di ba, grades mo, 95, 94, 93, pinakadulo 74. Ang unang makikita ng parent is the failing mark, di ba? Tapos papagalitan niya yung anak niya, kailangan mag-aral ka mabuti, itong grade na to, dapat you have to focus on that subject. And that child would do his or her best na yung grade na yun pumasa or tumaas. Kasi yung school system, it teaches us how to be, di ba, balanced in terms of our scores. But yung mga bata, no, pag nalaman natin yung strengths nila as parents, we have to learn how to teach them to focus on their strengths and to look for others whose strengths are their weaknesses eventually so that they can seek their help. Kasi pag nasa corporate world na sila, companies are not looking for well-rounded individuals. Companies are looking for well-rounded teams. Kaya nga
Oh,
tayong team meron tayong kanya-kanyang specialization. So kung alam mo to, alam mo na, okay, this is my child. My child is a dominant eagle. I know his strengths and I also know his weaknesses. So let me help my child to embrace who he is so that he can be the best version of himself.
wow, Jason. So guys, sa mga nakikinig, this is an eye-opener application wherein if your kid, one is smarter than the other, one naman is stronger in certain aspects, wag natin sila i-treat equally, no? And maybe Jason, what we also can share to our co-parents is yung affirmation. I think our kids, what are your thoughts about affirmations sa kids?
Well, sa affirmation, yung I got this from The Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck. Two things, no? If we're gonna talk to our children, no? Sabi niya, as much as possible, let us not praise their talent. Let us not praise their talent. Huwag natin masyadong i-praise yung kanilang talino or yung galing nila. Kasi if we do that, we're actually kumbaga nade-develop sa kanila is their fixed mindset. Ang fixed
Oh,
mindset in our vernacular, pinanganak ako na mahirap, mamamatay ako na mahirap. Growth mindset, pinanganak ako na mahirap, kasalanan ko kung namatay ako na mahirap. Kasi yung fixed mindset, it's more of your abilities are already fixed. You can't do anything about it. If you're not good in math, you won't be good in math anymore. Or kung di ka magaling sa sports, di ba, hindi ka na makakapag-excel. Yung growth mindset, anything that you do, you can work hard on it. So if you fail, failure is okay. You can embrace it because failure is part and parcel of success. So dapat daw ang pinupuri natin sa mga bata, we praise not their talent, but we praise their effort because they can control their effort and they can work hard. Combine mo yung growth mindset sa disc profiles, you work hard, growth mindset, and at the same time, you know who you are, then you tend to work harder on what you are good at. So I guess,
Jason,
yeah,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Ang ganda ng sinabi mo about, but I need a sample of do not praise the effort. Do not praise the talent, praise the effort. What's a sample of that in application?
Oh, it's great that you asked, no? Ang sample niyan would be, yung daughter ko is a ballerina.
Oh, wow.
And when she was younger, pag after ng mga plays nila, pupuntahan namin, we would watch yung kanilang shows. And then, after that, lalapitan namin, sasabihin ko, Gabby, you did well. You were great on stage. You know why? Titingin sa akin, tapos magsismile yan. Yes, Daddy, I know. Because I worked hard, because I practiced.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yun yung ano namin sa kanya. You have to practice, you have to work hard. And I wanna add this, no, Carl? I
Yep.
think this is one of the, if you're a parent, please listen to this. This is one of the most important advice that I can give you when it comes to your children. Dr. Henry Cloud was doing a success workshop. He's a psychologist and an author. And he was asked by one parent, um, what would you teach my child? If there's only one thing that you can teach my child, what would it be? And he answered, I would teach your child to fail. And
Wow.
the mother was dumbfounded. She said, this is a success seminar. Why would you advise me to teach my child to fail? And he answered, because they will. So that if they fail, they will be prepared.
Fantastic, Brother Jason. Ganda ng huling sinabi mo, no? I wasn't expecting that answer. Kasi in success, di ba, it's all about winning, getting high grades, high performance, di ba? But you're giving your kids space to fail, no? Parang ganon.
Right. Right.
So they learn from it, they experience it, they know how it feels, they feel your support going through it, no?
Mhm.
Fantastic, Jason. We're about to land the plane. It's now 9 o'clock. And sa lahat ng nakikinig, you are still here at this point. I hope you learned a lot about today. And I encourage you to review this video again. Kasi ang ganda ng mga nabanggit ni Jason. And I would like you to capture yung mga nakasanayan na natin. Di ba? Like yung pinapagalitan natin yung anak natin. We treat them so equally and we praise the talent versus the effort. I want you to listen to this whole video again and really capture yung application. Jason, as we are now landed, and before I open the door for deboarding, what are your last words to all our listeners?
To our listeners here, remember to learn how to embrace who you are. Never ever compare yourself to others. Never uh, count other people's money or look at other people's success. Just have to focus on minding your own business and be grateful with what you have and to work with what you have. And that includes your personality type. That if you are steady, embrace it and learn how to use your strengths so that you can be the best that you can be. And for others, remember that all types are great. And if we learn how to work together we can do so much more.
Wow, fantastic. Wala akong palakpakan na sound. Meron ka ba dyan, Jason? But awesome, awesome. And before we go, guys, wag muna kayo alis. Before we go, Jason mentioned about being grateful. And I want everybody here that's watching, if you've been touched by the talk of Jason, please go to your chat box and just send some love to Jason. Send some appreciation, send some grateful messages. Kasi, Jason, we want tayo, we're next generation. We want a culture that's grateful and appreciative, di ba? And iba, I think, Jason, what are your thoughts about being able to communicate your gratefulness?
Yeah, especially now. Since I'm half Chinese, I know my dad loves me, but my dad passed away more than 10 years ago. My dad never told me that he loves me. So now I tell my children every day that I love them.
Wow.
Kaya ano siya,
How,
although I
how
know my
about your
dad
wife?
loves me. Come again?
How about your wife? Only your
Yeah, my
children?
wife especially. Yan, lagi din siya nag I love you sa akin pag may bibilin lalo na sa Shopee. Uh, sobrang sweet. Bakit ka sweet sa ayun. And it's really about being thankful. We are on a lockdown right now, but 'di ba? We have to be grateful na we have a home and we have a family. So eto lang for everyone here, no, if you feel afraid because of the pandemic, think of the things that you are grateful for. Gratefulness and fear cannot occupy the same space in your head.
Wow. Salamat, everybody. I'm seeing some appreciation messages from Carlo. Salamat, Lyra. Inspiring Paul, Lawrence. Salamat sa lahat ng show ng appreciation for Sir Jason Lo. And sige lang, you can show your appreciation. And I think, Jason, maganda rin culture yun. Kasi as you say your appreciation, you feel good yourself. Di
Mm.
ba?
Mm.
So, on that note, thank you very much, Jason. And it was really an hour of mind opener sa mga sinabi mo. And I'm gonna really digest the application of this.
Hey, thank you so much. For those of you who are listening, we touched on a lot of topics. You can actually learn more if you grab a copy of my books, Unique, and it will explain even further. And you're welcome to join my you can like my page on FB, Jayson Lo. So as I share there more about the personality types. Thank you so much, Carl, for having me. It's a joy and privilege, brother.
Brother, it's good to see you here. But wait, where do they buy your book?
Oh, actually, they can grab a copy in Shopee, no, and also on my website. Pero for your viewers here, just to make them this moment more special, no, you can email me at jason@jasonlaw.com, and we will send you a link to get uh and I don't share this no openly, to get a link that will give you around 40% off for all of my four books. So those are three unique books and one book about behavioral finance. It's called Determined. So just email
Oh.
me and message there, bounce back, and we'll send it to you para alam ko kung saan kayo galing.
Hashtag bounce back. Wow.
Yes.
May, masusulitin na namin. May ano ba yan? May autograph ba yan, Jason?
Of course, of course.
Meron.
Feeling,
Wow.
no? Yes.
You know, di mo man makuha ang signature ni Gerald Anderson. Jason Lo will do. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure doing this show with you. And thank you, Sean Hakoba, for being our technical team for this. Thank you very much, guys.